Hello, hello? Hello? Is that working now?
Go to the chat.
No sound, no sound. Is it working now?
No.
Hello, hello?
People would be saying yes.
You see the bar? It's showing up now.
Yeah, but is it coming from your
Yes,
computer?
it's working.
Oh!
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So, to just
recap what we just said. This is the one video per week. We don't do keto stuff. We don't talk about keto. We eat a keto meal. We show you what we're eating, but we talk true crime for an hour.
Yeah.
You
Murders,
said it can
misery,
get graphic.
yeah.
You might not love it if you don't like crime.
So just a warning.
Yes.
And this one, I think there is a bit of a delay usually when we start, but it catches up. I can't figure that out. Keep us updated on how delayed the audio is.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna check on dinner.
We got a little busy, or we just like procrastinated, so we didn't get dinner done on time. But it's in the Instant Pot right now. It's short ribs. Short ribs. Julius, come on. Julius really gets hyped for Murder, She Ate. So we made short ribs. The link to the cookbook that the short rib recipe is in the description of this video.
But we did Instant Pot, not Crock Pot.
Yeah. And so what are you guys eating? You guys doing dinner? A lot of you might be new since it's the New Year's. I know a lot of people start doing keto, just start, trying to get strict. Diet, exercise, checking all the boxes. Is that you? And like always, you guys can suggest cases for us to do in the future. I think this one will be cool because this is actually a heavily requested case. Chris Watts. And I didn't know too much about it. I think it's on the news a lot. We don't watch the news or even get the news or even like check Google News or any of that. So I think this is like a big case lately.
Should I just split it all up?
Yeah. So we did like a little over 2 pounds of short ribs. Need money for razors? No, I'm just trying something new, guys. I've never really done this before. I see some people pull off the look where it's like longer beard than hair and it looks kind of cool. Just giving it a try. Doesn't hurt. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Oh, apparently he gets a ton of coverage. Okay. Day 171 on keto for you.
You don't want any broth, right?
I haven't calculated the days. No. I'm over 1,000 though. Yeah, so we got these short ribs because they were on sale from a local farm, and we made them once. It wasn't the best.
They are fall off the bone, but Matt seasoned them this time.
Mega's scared of seasoning.
I don't mean to be. I just happen to be.
So check it out. This is like fresh out of the hot pot, and when you do the hot pot, it gets so crazy hot. Oh, Instant Pot.
Yeah.
So this is going to be too hot to eat for like 20 minutes probably.
Oh, then I'll bring over your bear.
And I cut them up this time. Did you notice that? So you can see.
Oh, no, I didn't.
It's short ribs. I tried cutting them individually.
Oh, I like that. I thought they came like that.
I got some berries.
And then we have our
pickles.
Classic Grillo's pickles.
I was just listening to the police interview. Oh yeah, the thing about these more recent cases is there's so much, like we all live on the internet now, so there's so much you can go back and look at of just like him and his wife chatting, like, oh, I'll get into it.
We're all really just armchair detectives.
Yeah, but you can see their lives, like their entire lives.
Where could you see it?
Just on the internet. She was big on posting on the internet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't look into it. I was going to do barbecue sauce. Someone asked where it is. But I'm going to taste it first, and then if I feel like I want some barbecue sauce, I'm going to grab it for sure.
I'm a little nervous it might be too salty.
Yeah.
I went pretty heavy on the salt.
Let's start with the pickle while that cools.
I've been doing berries as my dessert every night. Yum.
Someone said that, or you said that?
Someone said that.
Oh.
John List is a really creepy case.
I'm doing John List.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one. And I have one. So we're going to do 4 cases tonight. We're going to do them quicker hits. Mm-hmm. They're all going to be family murder type cases. The second one I have is, I read the synopsis and I was like, oh, pretty basic. But then I went digging deeper and it's really crazy. Both of them are pretty crazy.
I've read a bunch of them, like a bunch of just like brief overviews, and a lot of them are like similar. There's common themes among like all the family annihilators.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too at the end.
Okay, at the end, okay.
What, do you have themes? Go ahead. We can talk about it now, I guess.
Religion. Financial issues.
Financial issues, I was going to say.
Those are the two big ones that really stood out to me.
Extramarital affairs.
Oh, I didn't really hit any of those.
No.
I feel like there's always like 3 or more children, like 3 to 7. Like they're really just going on a killing spree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to get into this.
Someone said they're just starting to shop for keto and it's really pricey. All the fat scares me. So
we just put out a video actually
on a budget ideas
yesterday. We both ate under $5 a day.
If you buy in bulk, it's not that pricey. If you shop the sales, and like olive oil, you get like 2,000 calories for $8 or something. Same with butter. The fat is pretty cheap. The protein is what can cost a lot of money.
But you can also find that in bulk. Like we've gotten 13-pound slabs of ribeye.
New York strips.
New York strips at Costco for $6 a pound. Bring it home, cut it up, freeze it. You got 13-pound steaks right there. 1-pound steaks.
Did you try it?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's good.
Okay. Is it too salty?
No.
Okay, Matt. I have been berated by my husband for 3 years for putting an L in both. Megan makes fun of me all the time.
I berate him too, and it's so weird.
Both.
And whenever he says it, I have to just repeat it. I'm like, both.
It is definitely. I admit that I say the word wrong, but I've just committed to it at this point.
But like when I point it out, he'll try. He'll be like both, and then both just goes right back to it. It's funny.
Yeah, I always say probably too instead of probably.
That's just like terrible English.
Yeah, that's
just. I have 4 kids, broke and go to church every week. Hopefully, I don't go on a murder spree. I love the humor in that. Most people are so sensitive these days, but you just made me laugh.
But you know, if you do, they're gonna like find this chat log of you.
I know, right?
This will be evidence number 1.
We'll be like prime.
Yeah.
I mean, not suspects.
Are these diet YouTubers influencing mass murders?
Almond milk have too many carbs. If you get the
this is delicious.
If you get the unsweetened almond milk, no, it has like 1, I think, per cup. Half per cup, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to get unsweetened. This is way better than when you made it.
Yeah. I think the Instant Pot does it a lot better though.
That might be
than
what it is.
Like the actual, because we did it in the oven last time. But yeah, you definitely season a lot better. I trust your seasoning better.
Look how tender these are. Mm-hmm. They're just easily breakable.
How do you like living in Philly? We lived there for a year. We no longer live there. We live in Atlanta now. But I grew up right outside of Philly, so it was like home to me. How did you like it? You didn't love it, right?
I didn't love it. It's just kind of like cold, miserable. A lot of people, I mean, people are generally kind of mean. I can see the appeal to that because like, so we lived in San Francisco. Everyone's just like overly nice, like fake nice, I would say.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, it's the opposite. And some people like that because it's like, you know, you bash through the meanness and then you find some real friends, which I can kind of appreciate that. I'm more of like a Midwestern, just the middle of the road type of guy though. Is there anything in your house that is not keto?
Yeah, there must be.
We got Jif peanut butter that we give to Julius sometimes.
So like I got natural peanut butter for Julius because like
He
Matt kept saying like, why do you give him that stuff? He was just like calling me out. He just won't eat the natural peanut butter at all. So I caved and got him the Jif. And then we have like probably some ingredients, right? Like we'll get honey soon. We get for like experiments. Sometimes we'll have non-keto stuff for sure. Pickles are Grillo, yeah.
Don't we have popcorn?
No, it went stale. Kathleen had the rest of it.
Aren't you from Colorado? No.
Looks like you could be.
It does.
Just tuned in. What are we eating? We are eating short ribs that we made in the Instant Pot.
Instant Pot short ribs.
And they're really good. It's also really quick when you do it in the Instant Pot. It's like 45 minutes on manual pressure.
Super Bowl pick? I've actually been looking into this a little, and I'm all about veteran quarterbacks in the playoffs, so I'm thinking Patriots or Saints. One of those two. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go Saints.
Like who you think will be in the
Who will win the Super Bowl?
Who's in it? We don't know though, right?
No, it just starts this weekend.
Okay.
Should we start cases?
Sure. Oh, how do you want to do it? Do you want me to go first for both
You'd
of
like
them?
to go first?
For
No,
both?
just do one.
Okay.
We'll alternate.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the better one, John List, and it's really fascinating. Okay, so I begin. I always get very nervous and amped right before. Okay. So John List was born on September 25th, 1925 in Bay City, Michigan. How
Okay.
close is that to Detroit?
I don't know. I'd probably estimate 2 to 3 hours. I don't really know though.
Anyway, it made me think of Matt. So he had religious German American parents growing up, really religious, very strict, and he was also an only child, so no siblings. So he grew up in Michigan and then eventually enlisted into the Army, and he served in World War II.
So super religious only child. That's very an intense childhood, it seems.
Yeah, I would imagine. Overbearing, protective mom.
Yep.
So during his second recall in the Army, he met his wife, and she was the widow of another officer at the time, and they married in 1951. They eventually moved to Kalamazoo, also in Michigan, which I didn't know.
It's 3 hours away.
Where they had their 3 children, Patricia, John, and Frederick. So at the time, John was working as a general supervisor at an accounting firm, so he was an accountant. And he was working up in the ranks. He had a really good job, but he moved his kids and his wife to Rochester, New York in 1960 because apparently Helen was an alcoholic and she was really unstable at the time. So I don't really know why that...
The wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know why that led them to relocate, but either way, that's why they did. And then they moved again, actually, 5 years later in 1965 to Jersey City, where John accepted a new job as a VP at the bank. And he moved his wife, his kids, and his mother into a 19-room Victorian mansion.
Whoa.
And this is where the murders took place. So...
How do you get the money for the mansion?
I don't know. I guess, good job, VP at a bank.
So he was making really good money. 19 rooms.
They were also a religious family. So I'm sure they weren't spending a lot. And 19-room Victorian...
So that's $1 million plus house then, right?
I don't know if in 1965 it is. Right now it would be in Jersey City.
Current value though, $1 million.
Yeah, current value way more actually, because they had it turned out they had they had a lot of really expensive glass ceilings and stuff that were worth $500,000 now. So on November 9th, 1971, John premeditatedly murdered his entire immediate family using a semi-automatic handgun and his father's revolver.
How do we know it's premeditated?
We will get to that. It's very much so premeditated. So while the kids were at school, he shot his wife in the back of the head and his mother above the left eye. And then once Patricia and Frederick, his 2 kids, returned, so 2 out of the 3 kids returned home from school, he shot them in the back of the head as well. Dang. He then made himself lunch and he drove to the bank, closed his bank account, closed his mother's bank account, and then he drove to his third child, John's school to watch him play a soccer game, which is really weird. But it makes sense. So he wanted to drive John home, and after they got home, he repeatedly shot John in the face and the chest.
Oh my gosh. And
repeatedly because apparently John the son was resisting, so he just wanted to make sure he was dead.
Yeah. This is mafia style hits.
Yeah, it's creepy. So the crime scene was cleaned up. So he cleaned up the crime scene and he moved all of the bodies really neatly into the ballroom of the mansion on top of sleeping bags, except for his mother's, who he left in the attic, where was her bedroom. He left a 5-page letter on his desk that was written to his pastor that he saw too much evil in the world and he had killed his family to save their souls. He also stated that he prayed over their bodies. And then before leaving, he cut his picture out of every single family picture in the home, very neatly. And then he tuned to a radio station that was religious and he just bounced.
Wait, where were the bodies?
he left them in the ballroom.
Okay.
Just on top of sleeping bags.
Okay.
All the lights were on. He just left. Like, it was normal. What he did was good for his family.
Okay.
So the bodies were not actually discovered until a month later due to the meticulous planning. So the family also kept to themselves a lot. So, like, neighbors weren't like, this is weird that the List family isn't walking about,
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, if we died in this house, we would not be discovered for...
No.
Julius would eat us, but we wouldn't be discovered for, like, a month. At least.
Even that long.
Oh, I guess our families call and stuff.
My dad.
Well, I guess we post to YouTube, so people will be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
that's
YouTube.
The only way.
YouTube. Thank you, social media. Okay, so like I said, the bodies weren't discovered till a month later. So he also had sent notes stating that the family would be in North Carolina for several weeks to the children's school and to their part-time jobs. He also stopped the family's milk, mail, and newspaper deliveries. So smart, right?
Yep.
Obviously, there's some planning going on there. So the lights were left on in the mansion, as I mentioned, and it wasn't until they actually started burning out a month later that the neighbors, weirded out. They called the police. So at this point, a nationwide manhunt began for John List, and all the leads they had led to nothing. His car was parked at the JFK airport in New York, but there was also no evidence that he boarded a plane or flew anywhere, no evidence in the car. And then it wasn't until 18 years later when the murders were recounted on America's Most Wanted. So the show was new at the time.
Yeah.
And there was
I used to always watch that show.
Yeah. There was a famous a clay buster. He makes drawings and sketches, but he made his out of clay for some reason. There was a clay bust created of John List reflecting his older age. And at the time, John is living in Denver. He took on a whole new name, Bob Clark, and he joined a new Lutheran church and met his second wife there, and they married in 85. And then in 89, about 5 years after the airing of America's Most Wanted, an acquaintance saw the repeat show, and they recognized him, and they alerted the authorities.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he was
because
18 years.
If you see something on America's Most Wanted and you're like, yeah, that kind of looks like the guy down the road, but it's probably not. That's what I would think.
Yeah, you're not
I would never call in, really.
I know. Especially if it's a sketch of this guy, much later on, it could be totally off. But apparently it looked exactly like John List did at the time.
I guess if you have a 30-day head start on the cops, you can probably get away with stuff.
I mean, change your name. Especially at that time, But he also seemed smart and messed up in the head enough. Cut out all the family pictures.
Yeah.
Super religious. So
No, it seemed like he was just cold-blooded because usually these people are doing it crime of passion type of thing, where they're just something overcomes them. But he had this all planned out, executed it to a T, and left.
That's what I'm saying. It's those people that are the scariest.
Yeah, he's the scariest type.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's really much it. I think he died in 2008 in prison. He got 5 life sentences, I think, which makes sense. And yeah, it's after reading all of these, you could murder me and our future kids someday. People get married, they don't think they're going to be abused, they're going to be raped, they're going to be murdered.
No, that's what I always think. Everyone goes through a relationship where they're like us, and they're like, oh, nothing could go wrong, but then it goes wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my first one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crazy part is it took them 18 years, and he's married again?
Yeah, could you imagine what Dolores, the second wife, thought?
No.
I know.
Just lack of judgment. She must have always questioned her judgment skills.
What was the motive? Did they discuss at the trial, really? Well, no, he was wanting to save their souls. So the entire first year after being discovered, he stuck to his guns. Hey, I'm Bob Clark. He denied everything. And then afterwards he admitted to the murders, and it was just he saw all the evil. His kids were falling away from religion, and it was just all that. A lot of people seems like people are joining. What the heck did I join? This is not keto talk. This is true crime talk. Wednesdays we do that. Okay, yeah. I think there's not much to discuss.
What's in the big plastic jar? That's pickles.
Pickles.
So yeah, that was a good one. So the first one I'm going to do is Chris Watts. I want to just finish eating this first though. I don't like my food to get cold. And it seemed like he moved around a lot. I was going to say, how many different like cities have you guys lived in? I've lived in like 5. I've lived in 5 different cities. How many have you lived in? 3? Like 3 or 4?
Well, I've lived in India too. So I lived in 2 countries. Got my handy dandy barbecue sauce. This is G Hughes because last time I pulled it out, we got basically all the talk was just about the barbecue sauce, remember?
Yeah. Watts is a true monster. Yeah, it seems...
I mean, all of these people are monsters.
Anyone who murders your family, you're generally a monster, yeah. Oh, yeah, I want to do the Stephen Avery case soon, because a lot of people are very into that one. Julius is just setting his nose on my lap right now because he wants food.
Do you want me to go first? Mm-mm. It's so hard to eat with a knife and a fork, but I have to be presentable for everyone here.
I know. Normally we would just eat this by hand.
Yeah.
This is short ribs. I have some berries here, and then we got pickles, and I might have like some... Lately I've been having nut butter packages like after dinner. It's been my new thing. Give Julius peanut butter.
There's always a mother. It's what all these cases have in common, even the new one, Patrick Frazee. What's a mother mean?
What?
Like a weird mother?
Oh, with the family killers? Mm-hmm. I don't, yeah, with a lot of...
Oh, like a mom. They kill a mom, too.
A lot of family killers have some kind of mom issue. I guess everything goes back to that, though, right? Everything's like some kind of manifestation of your childhood.
Yeah, you're angry at someone.
I used to think that was
brought
dumb.
You up. What?
And like kind of the family history stuff, but it really plays in. I'm just learning now.
You thought it was dumb?
Yeah, I thought it was like, why would it matter how your relationship with your mom was? Like...
What are you talking about? That's so weird that you thought that.
No. When I first heard that, I was like, that doesn't tell us anything.
You're like the crazy person who would kill people then if you don't think that. Oh, you finished everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was good. We know who's cooking the short ribs from now on. It's not Mega. Okay. Here we go. Chris Watts. So you guys have probably heard about this case. It's been in the news a lot lately. I didn't know anything about it until I started researching it for this because so many people requested it. So we'll go a little bit into the backstory because a lot of the stuff for this case is online. There's video of it. The wife, her name is Shannon. I think it's Shannon.
I think it is Shannon too.
She recorded a lot of stuff. She was pretty active on Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. So on June 11th, she posts a video where she surprises Chris Watts, her husband, with their 3rd pregnancy. She like shows him the pregnancy test, and his reaction is like kind of mixed, but I would say, unless you're really reading into it, it seems to be like a positive reaction.
Wait, is there a video?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not gonna see the videos?
I'll figure out videos for future episodes, maybe.
And so like, I show you, and what did you do?
He's like, oh, when you wish for something, it happens.
With like a smile on his face?
Yeah, with a smile, but with like, he seems like kind of a reserved guy.
But it seems genuine.
Seemed to be genuine. Some people have said it's not genuine, but I think that's just reading into it too much.
Yeah, after the fact, it's easy to say.
On June 19th, Shannon shares an ultrasound picture with the caption, "Best dad us girls could have asked for." And this is, she has 2 kids already, 2 daughters, and she's pregnant with a 3rd. I don't know if we know if it's a boy or a girl, the pregnant child.
I think she was like 15 weeks pregnant, right? So they might have...
Yeah, it was pretty recent. So then July 31st, so this is about a month later, Chris flies to North Carolina for the final week of his family's vacation. So they went on a vacation without him for about 5 weeks because he's working, making the big bucks. He's like some kind of oilman. He works for like an oil factory.
So this is when he like
drilling.
plans everything out.
No. But he flies, he meets up with his family, and at this point, July 31st, this is 2 weeks before the bodies, or this is 2 weeks before the murders. Things seem kind of hostile, like not normal text messages.
Between them?
Between the wife and husband. They're like just fighting a lot, not getting along great, seeming like they're going to break up almost.
Okay.
So then...
And like, is there any speak of like, it seems like he's instigating it intentionally?
I think he is instigating it intentionally. We'll get to that though, a little bit more backstory. We're skipping some stuff for now. We'll unveil that later.
Okay.
August 13th, this is when everything goes down. Shannon, she is returning home from a business trip to Arizona. Mm-hmm. Just her. Kids are at home. She comes home 2 a.m., 1:48 to be exact, and that is her arrival home. A friend drops her off at home.
Her husband didn't even pick her up?
Now that you mention it, no. That's a good... But maybe she had a coworker that like lives in the area. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it would make sense for her husband to pick her up. And then 4 or 5 a.m., Chris Watts tells police that he woke up, had an emotional discussion with his wife regarding his desire to separate. And nothing... So this is like all a little bit afterwards. Because at 10... No. We're getting into the deep stuff already. So when the police are tipped off, this is 1:40 p.m. So about 12 hours after Shannon gets home, neighbors are alerting the police because they haven't been able to contact her. She missed a ultrasound, like a pregnancy appointment.
Okay.
So
how many days later is this?
This is the same day.
Oh.
So like 12 hours after she arrived home.
Okay.
People are already on alert.
That's great.
So they get the cops over there, and this whole thing, when the cops show up, is on body cam footage. You can find it on YouTube. Cops show up, the neighbor's like, yeah, I can't get in. Her car's there, the car seats are in the car, her purse and stuff. This doesn't make sense. Why would that be there when she's not answering her phone? I'm worried. So the cop goes in, knocks on the door, whatever. Chris basically like escorts the cop around the house, and this is all on footage again. Okay. You can see all of this, and he just kind of gives a story like he went to work. She might have taken the girls and like ran off because he spoke about separating with her. Mm-hmm. So the cops are like kind of surveying the area a little bit, and then eventually they get to the neighbor's house, and he says he has surveillance footage because he has one of those Nest like doorbell camera things. Yeah. That you use to see people at your doorstep, but that you also give to Amazon so they can just surveil everybody. Actually, I don't know if it goes to Amazon, but everyone's watching us these days. So basically, they pull the footage from this camera, and they see the car arriving at 1:48 a.m., the wife arriving home. They see Chris backing his truck into the garage at about 5:27 a.m. And then he does some stuff, drives off. So he backs his truck into the garage. That's basically what you would do to get rid of bodies, right? Backing your truck into the garage?
No, we hate people who back into spots. Maybe people back into the garage.
But do you ever back your car all the way into the garage, like inside?
Yeah, because next morning you want to like drive straight out.
Super fast?
Yeah.
Okay. So August 14th, so that invalidates Chris's initial story. August 14th, Chris appears on Denver News to discuss his missing family. And this is, the typical thing you see on the news when someone's missing. Like, I wish you would come home. His direct quote is, Shannon, Bella, Celeste. Those are the two daughters, Bella and Celeste. If you're out there, just come back. If somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. And I read a little bit of like analysis on these statements he gave, and it's all very selfish statements. It's not like I'm truly concerned for them. It's like, I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody. I need people in this house with me. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh my gosh, my wife's missing. That type of stuff. So that was kind of cool analysis, because this is before more stuff goes down. Because on August 15th, police discover Chris has a mistress, and he fails a lie detector test.
Not that that matters a ton.
Well, it gives maybe some motive.
No, the lie detector test.
Oh, not the lie detector test. But so now police are like, this is our guy. So they pull all his phone records, all that type of stuff, social media, etc. And they find that on June 14th, this is exactly 2 months before the missing women, there's a new entry into his phone book, Nicole Kessinger. And she would become his mistress.
Okay. So really recent.
Yeah, 2 months. So Watts tells, and then a couple days later, Watts tells Nicole that he is married, but they're in the process of separating. Pretty standard, like affair type logic.
String things along. Yeah.
July 4th. This is all back before the missing family. July 4th. Well, Shannon and the kids are on the 5-week vacation. Chris stays home from work, and Nicole comes over and hangs extensively while the family's gone.
So he had the nest thing on his door and didn't think to get rid of it?
He had it on his door, but the one that saw the truck activity was on a neighbor's door.
They can see that? Like across the street?
Yeah, because it was across the street.
Oh, man.
So this, if you coincide the affair or the start of an affair with the abrupt tension between the husband and wife, you can totally see how that happens, right?
Yeah.
I have this new chick that I love. She's killing it. I don't care that much about my family and wife anymore. I'm just going to start hostility for no reason, start spiraling.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So throughout July and August, Watts and Chris and Nicole, go on a number of dates, naked pictures in text messages, etc. All the basic starting points of a relationship. August 4th, interesting. Well, Chris Watts goes to meet up with the family. Nicole searches for wedding dresses. She goes wedding dress shopping.
That's quick. They met 2 months ago, right?
Yeah. So you can see where her mind's at. She's thinking they're getting married.
Yeah.
And then basically just while Shannon was on the business trip away from Chris, she wrote handwritten letters detailing, just trying to salvage their marriage, but kind of saying, I don't know where we went wrong, that type of stuff. So it was obvious that it was getting very serious and separation was imminent.
Yeah.
And then August 11th, a couple days before the murders, Chris hires a babysitter and goes on a date with Nicole. And this is while he's home alone watching the kids. Which to me, that's pretty messed up to do, right? Well, extremely messed up.
Yeah.
You're home with your kids. You're supposed to be watching them. You hire a babysitter. Well,
he also killed them, so obviously he doesn't care about his kids.
So, another interesting thing is at 10:10 a.m., the day of the disappearances, Chris looks up the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica.
Okay.
So what are the lyrics to Battery by Metallica? Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery, pounding out aggression, turns into obsession, cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family. Coincidence?
So he's just
It's so weird to me that you would kill your family, then look up a song about killing a family.
Oh, he did this after?
After. 5 hours after.
Maybe he was trying to justify. Maybe he heard it beforehand and then he was trying to relive the justification in his head.
That's weird to me.
It is weird.
How do you have time to just Google Metallica songs when this is all going down? I guess
well, clearly
is my
something's
question.
wrong with you.
And then what we got is, so when all of that becomes uncovered, the cops are like, okay, Chris, you did this.
Yeah.
Chris admits to strangling his wife, but he gives a new story, and he says he looked on the baby monitors, and he saw his wife killing his 2 daughters. So his only response to that was to kill his wife, and he buried his wife in a nearby oil field
where he worked.
Where he worked, his work. And the 2 daughters' bodies were found in oil drums.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 2 oil tanks.
Oh, that's terrible.
So he is arrested on suspicion of 3 first-degree murder charges and charges of tampering with a body. He pleads guilty to 9 counts against him to avoid the death penalty, and he is sentenced, this is recent, I think about November, to 3 consecutive life sentences. Not much to really talk about on that one.
Yeah, someone said Metallica song is setting up insanity defense if he gets caught.
I don't hate that. I don't
wonder,
know that it really
did his
does
defense like try for insanity? Do you know? In the
don't,
trial?
I don't think so, no. And a couple of bullet points I made just to talk about is he was in debt, about $400,000 in debt. So for me, I'm thinking like, okay, we're in major debt, and they live pretty luxuriously. Their house is like about a $500,000 house. So they're $400,000 in debt. They're having another baby, and the family went on a 5-week vacation. So what's going on there exactly?
Well, does the wife even know they're in that much of a debt?
I don't know that.
He might be. So usually what I found is like the men always keep the debt secret until they're like, I can't fix this. I had to just kill everyone, you know? But it doesn't seem like he killed because of the debt. He killed because like Nicole, and I don't know, just didn't want his family's burden anymore. Like he just didn't want to have kids. Like some people just walk away from their lives, even like, you know, like people get divorced and then a dad or mom walks away.
Yeah. Some people are saying life insurance. I don't think that was really the motivation. I think it was just the affair.
Yeah. Do we know if the wife really killed the kids or he lied about it? Sure, I'm sure he lied.
Oh, someone said the debt was primarily the mortgage. So that's not really like the same as debt, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it is debt.
But it's not like you're in debt.
Well, you're in debt.
You're in...
But it's not like the debt we assume when people are like, I was in so
I'm thinking credit card debt.
Like, they're not going bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Credit card debt, it just keeps stacking up on you.
Most people are in mortgage debt, I guess.
Okay.
He wanted a new life. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Oh, she took over the finances because of an earlier bankruptcy. Was Nicole involved?
It was a 5-week vacation to her parents' house. Okay, so probably not too expensive then.
Yeah, thank you guys for pointing all this stuff out. Dr. Phil said he broke the bones of the girls to fit them in the tank.
Yeah, I heard that too. I wanted to just leave that detail out, but yeah.
Oh my god. We were just
imagine...
listening to a true crime case, and the creepiest thing I've ever heard happened. Some guy, he super glued the girl's eyes shut as he like raped her with objects and like himself, but super glued her eyes shut. Could you imagine? Oh my god.
I couldn't imagine doing this to your children though, right? Over like a new love interest. It's just, what is wrong with you?
Some people just aren't meant to be parents. Classic narcissist. And yeah, okay, so I don't know how you guys view me after saying this, but like he's good looking.
Chris Watts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not great looking, but
he's
like
getting
above
letters,
average.
right?
In jail?
Yeah.
I heard that, yeah.
I read that as well.
But people send all like serial killers and stuff letters.
Yeah, I mean Avery got them and he's not good looking.
Do you want to go on your next one?
Yeah.
I feel like we're cutting it close.
Okay, this one's pretty quick. Okay. So this is about Marcus Wesson, and look up a picture, very gross. He has gray dreadlocks. He's like a big 6-foot-something man. He's like big and hefty. On March 12th, 2004, 2 women and their friends were frantically shouting in the front yard of their home, demanding their children be released to them. The neighbors witnessed this, called the police, and when the police arrived, they just thought it was like a normal child custody dispute and didn't really think much of it. And at the time, which is creepy, Marcus was actually outside with the women. He was like trying to calm them down from screaming. And when the police arrived, he walks inside the house and he locks the door. Then the police realize there's something more going on.
Wait, there's 2 women?
Yeah. On the front yard,
lawn.
screaming, give us our children back, like demanding their children. But Marcus is outside with them, telling them to calm down.
Okay.
So police arrive, Marcus goes back into the house, locks the door, and the police demand he unlock the door and come outside to speak with an officer. But instead, they hear a gunshot fire and then a series of gunshots. So inside the home was 9 other people, 7 kids, all under the age of 12, 17-year-old Elizabeth and 25-year-old Sabrina. So after he kills everyone, he walks out.
He kills all of them, all 9?
Yeah. He shoots them in the eye, or in the eyes.
Is this a family? Like, how is everyone
We'll get
related?
to that.
Okay.
So Marcus walks outside of the home, covered in blood, and calmly gives himself up to the police. He was convicted of 9 counts of first-degree murder and 14 sex crimes, including rape and molestation of his underage daughters. His victims were his own children, fathered by incestuous relationships with his daughters and nieces, as well as the children of his wife. So the 2 women outside screaming to get their children back were his nieces. The 2 women inside were his daughters, and the rest were his children, grandchildren, because they were all his.
Okay.
So a little background. Marcus grew up in a very religious household and was raised as a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. That was like pointed out. I guess they always point out religion because John List was Lutheran, but I wasn't sure if like Seventh-day Adventist was anything like more stricter than like a normal Catholic household.
It probably is a little. I don't exactly know. I just know of it from like all these vegan studies on
Yeah, same. So he eventually met Solorio. And they moved in together and they got married, and that was his wife. Solorio at the time had an 8-year-old daughter, and Marcus actually began a relationship with her pretty much immediately, telling her that God had chosen her to be his bride. They legally married, so he started raping her at the age of 12, and then at 15 they get legally married, and they have 10 kids together. He homeschools the children, teaching them from his own handwritten Bible.
So this is just like his own cult he has going.
Yeah, that focused on Jesus Christ being a vampire. He told the children that he was God and that they should refer to him as Master or Lord. He taught the children to be prepared for Armageddon and that the girls were destined to become Wesson's future wives. And regarding the boys, if you're interested at all, he just kept them separated because he didn't want them to like grow any affection towards one another. So like the boys lived in like a shack in the woods and the girls stayed with him.
Whoa.
Wesson sexually abused 2 daughters and 3 nieces, marrying in home ceremonies when they were all 7 to 9 years old.
So are the kids going to school? And
no, they're homeschooled. I just told you. He's teaching
Where
them.
is this?
I don't know if I know.
Is it like the countryside, or it must be, right?
I have to assume. I could look that up right after. So each of the 5 girls that he married, so his 2 daughters and his 3 nieces, they became pregnant pretty much.
Not legally married, right?
No, home ceremonies. And they're too young. I think 15 was the age at the time. They became impregnated as a result of the incest. And the mothers, so the 5 girls, they never like disclosed the actual paternity of the children because Wesson threatened to harm them. That makes sense. And they're like brainwashed at this point. They're young. So the trial, which I thought was like crazy, but like it's interesting. So the defense presented that his 25-year-old daughter, Sabrina, she was inside the house. She was one of the people that was murdered, whose 18-month-old son was also in the house. So both of them were murdered by Wesson, was killed. She was the one who had committed actually all the murders, and then she killed herself. So
that was the defense?
Yeah. And the murder weapon was a .22 caliber handgun, and it was found on her body, which is not a big deal. It had her DNA on it. And those 2 things were like the main reason why he could have gotten away with that defense. But like, obviously, it's like when you want to commit a murder, but you want it to look like suicide, you clean off the gun, you put it in their hand, right?
Yeah. Well, wouldn't she have killed him too? Why did he get away?
I don't know. But like the only reason I could think he would get away with any of this among them is that he's God to them. He's been teaching them.
Whose gun?
I'm sure.
It's his, right?
Yeah. So the jury declined to find Wesson fired the fatal shots, but they convicted him of murder anyway. presumably finding that he had persuaded the children to enter into a suicide pact. That's crazy.
What was his sentencing?
9 counts of first degree, and then all the 14 like rape and molestation. That was it. But the jury part was just like above and beyond for me.
Did he get life in jail?
I just told you, 9 years.
9 years?
No. 9 consecutive life sentences.
Okay. 9 years.
9 first degree murders.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But just like the verdict, you thought was weird.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all of it's very, very weird. Like the religion aspect to it, just like what's going on with someone like that, you know?
Well, you have to think the kids and the family members don't really have an accurate view of the world and reality.
Yeah, because
of him.
They're in a home, right? I mean, what? Yeah. So like, what kind? Like,
it's like.
So there was nothing too specific on his background though. Like, as if, I mean, he had an alcoholic father who was abusive, but he left when he was young. So it was just his mom. But like, it wasn't too crazy where you would think this is the outcome.
Was he born into the religion?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about the Seventh-day Adventists, so I don't know like if it would even make sense for what he did to like spiral off of that at all.
Why do we pay to put people like this in prison? Just shoot him in the eye like he did to the kids.
A lot of people do believe that, and like, I think it's an up to debate. Like, I'm not like totally against that.
I mean, you need due process.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
because there's like 6% of the time or whatever we kill people that didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've had the pro death penalty conversation with so many people, because especially in law school, it always comes up. And like, you choose your friends based on like, are you a for or against the death penalty?
Well, this isn't even death penalty. This is just bypassing trial and murdering them.
No, I know. But I'm just talking about like, if you actually would choose.
This all occurred in Fresno, California, 2004. Man, crazy stuff happens in California.
In Fresno. Remember Fresno was that weird guy who stabbed himself and set the house on fire?
Yep, that's true.
I told you Fresno was weird. No offense to you Fresno people. Okay.
His vitamin B12 was effed up, obviously. That might be it. No, man, I've actually been reading some studies about the links between veganism and depression and just like mood disorders. Very real link.
Yeah. This is what we do on Wednesday, Sonia. Thanks, Bobby Thompson, for telling her. We are doing true crime. We have one more case to get through.
Last one, my favorite one of the evening, because I have never heard of this one. It's a little off the radar, I think. This is the Hart family crash.
Crash in like parentheses? I mean quotations?
No, crash.
Okay.
So just to no, we're not even going to set the scene here. March 26th of this year, 2018, a German tourist notices an upside-down SUV near the shoreline, and this is down about 100 feet. So 100 feet cliff, shoreline, there's a vehicle upside down, like it landed directly on the top.
Okay.
And bodies around it.
Oh, geez. In California.
In California, yeah. So the bodies of Jennifer and Sarah Hart are found. Now, these are two women in a, like, I think they're actually married, a relationship. I don't know that they're married, but it's two women are found dead in the vehicle, and 3 of their children, these are adopted children, Marcus, Jeremiah, and Abigail, are found dead outside of the car. The vehicle was there for several hours before it was discovered. So, crash, dead family, off of a cliff. That's basically the whole story, but there's a lot of backstory that becomes important. So the cops see that, they initially rule no reason to suspect foul play, you know, just a tragic accident. So we get into the backstory now. Jennifer and Sarah Hart. They have the same last name, so it makes me think they're married, but I didn't verify that. They lived in Minnesota in 2006 and adopted 3 children, Marcus, Abigail, and Hannah, and they're all siblings.
Okay.
So that's their first adoption. This is 2006. In September 2008, police receive a call, the first of many, of a few, about a 6-year-old with a bruise on the left arm. And all of the actual kids that are harmed, they're like redacted, so you don't know which child it is. Because I think there's laws about that.
Can't, yeah.
So the child indicated to staff, we don't know what kind of staff, but some kind of staff member, that the mother had struck them with a belt. So police and social services interview the family, and they tell them that the kid fell down the stairs, case closed, no further investigation.
Okay.
So first alert, kid has some bruises and stuff. February 2009, 3 more adopted, siblings again, Jeremiah, Sierra, and Devante. And just to note, it doesn't really play into the story, all the kids are black, the 2 mothers are white.
Okay.
2010, one of the Hart children tells an elementary school teacher about like stomach pain, just I think typical tummy ache.
Yeah.
And for some reason they like do a little check and she has a bunch of back bruises.
How old is she?
Elementary school, we don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Sarah tells the police Sarah's one of the mothers, tells police that she spanked the child for bad behavior. She was charged with malicious punishment of a child.
Yeah, when you spank a child, you don't bruise them, right? I'm sure you
Unless
guys out
you're Adrian
there, some
Peterson.
of you have bruised.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson did that?
Yeah. Like it's severely bad. It was like a big story 5 or 6 years ago.
What happened to him?
Nothing too much. I think he got charges, but...
These people. Okay, go on, sorry.
So she got it's a misdemeanor charge. November 2014, Devante Hart, this is just like a weird coincidence, I think. Devante Hart is photographed in a Black Lives Matter protest. Now, this is one of the kids hugging a police officer, and it's like a very iconic photograph.
Huh.
So the kid who's in this story, it was like on a bunch of magazines and stuff. But it also goes a little bit into who the parents were. They were... Activists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Sure.
So 2017, family moves to Washington. I think that also goes with the activism, move out to more people like you in Washington. One of the Hart children then begins in this new house in Washington telling neighbors that she's being mistreated by her parents.
Okay. Sometimes kids just do that to like...
Yeah, there's definitely cases where the kid does it and it's not warranted.
Yeah, it's not true at all.
And then when it gets really alarming is when at 1:30 in the morning, one of the girls went to a neighbor's house asking for food and saying that the parents were not treating her properly. Okay. And we ended up getting her back to her parent. No. So then the neighbor just ended up returning her to the parents and checked on things the next morning and everything seemed fine.
Okay. So
it was like, okay, so this weird stuff's going on here, but, maybe it's...
Why get involved,
why get involved? Yeah, I guess so. March 2018, Devante begins asking for food regularly from the neighbors, like 3 times a day. And he's saying that they're taking away his meals for punishment issues. So
what's weird is that he's even allowed out to go to the neighbors if he's punished.
Yeah. I don't know that he is really.
Oh, he's sneaking out?
Maybe. And all the kids, they're very skinny. They're looking pretty malnourished. I wouldn't say starvation level, but you can look up a picture. But the 2 mothers are overweight. They're not as severely overweight, but they're eating, compared to the kids.
They're eating.
March 23rd, Child Services go back to check in on the Hart family as soon at the time Jennifer comes home from work. There was even some people that said she did come home from work. They knock on the door, no answer. They're coming to check in. So then this is when we're getting towards the climax here. March 24th, the next day, the Hart family begins traveling around in their GMC Yukon XL. Washington, Oregon area, just traveling around. Whole family seems to be there, although this is unconfirmed. 2 days later, their car is found upside down at the bottom of the cliff. 2 days from when they leave, child services start investigating a little bit. That could have been what triggered this.
Okay.
3 children are unaccounted for in the crash.
Okay.
So a search effort begins. And during this time, they're still doing welfare checks at the house because they're concerned maybe the word hasn't gotten to the child services that this crash involving that family happened. So they continue doing welfare checks, and they enter the home at some point. So maybe they are tipped off to this. And the home, or the trip was deemed to be temporary just due to the condition of the home. It was like they had pets.
Take everything.
Yeah, they didn't take everything. They had pets, and just it seemed like a short-term thing. And the cops issue a statement: "We have no evidence and no reason to believe this was an intentional act." Then April 1st, a week after the car is discovered, police say the crash may have been intentional. They have an addendum.
How many days after?
7 days.
Okay.
Data from the airbag module shows the car stopped at a turnout, it turned around, and started accelerating 70 feet from the cliff until it went off.
So that seems intentional.
Seems very
And
intentional.
how did they not know that the first time? They just like gave a statement without really doing any like
yeah, it's
checking?
just like an initial statement.
Okay. I feel like they don't normally do that, right? Maybe they
I
do.
think they always give like a quick, brief statement that really doesn't mean too much.
Okay.
One child was found during a subsequent search, so there for sure was 4 kids in the car. They say because of that, and it was like right near the water, so maybe the body could have like floated into the water or multiple.
Yeah.
They say they believe all 6 kids were in the car, but this has led to some speculation, like maybe there was murders committed before the car took off. Maybe kids died at the house just from malnourishment, and that prompted the leaving.
But why? Yeah. Why? But they killed themselves too then.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to reasons why that might have happened,
Okay.
but most evidence indicates that all kids were in the car. Just 2 of them have never been found.
Okay.
And
Still to this day?
yeah, to this day. So that's the whole story right there. Do we have any comments or anything?
Spanking does not leave bruises.
Yeah, spanking, it leaves like redness. They asked for help so many times.
I know. Didn't they keep food from the kids as punishment? Yeah, they did.
They did. Okay, so the other stuff is when the cops first entered the house, no sign that kids lived there whatsoever. It was extremely clean, sterile. You could go into rooms basically the way it is described. Every room seemed like it was a guest bedroom. Like there was no toy, like Hot Wheels. There was no kid with like a race car bed. None of that stuff. It's just everyone had a guest bedroom.
Okay.
You couldn't tell whose was the parents' bedroom and whose was the kid's bedroom.
You think that's how they lived, or
Yeah.
that's how they left it?
I think that's how they lived. No pictures in the picture frames, but there was like tons of picture frames on the wall and like sitting on the counter and stuff. This is interesting. You guys will probably find this interesting. They were very outspoken vegans, but on a search of their house, there was eggs in the fridge and like 3 packets of like very like Walmart style chicken breasts.
What do you mean outspoken vegans?
They were activists. They were like, they made comments on social media constantly about veganism, and their friends all knew them as vegans.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And they traveled to music festivals several weeks out of the year, going to like Coachella. Just pretty. They seem like a
something
hippie.
you do with like a ton of kids.
No, it doesn't seem like no.
Okay.
You're right. They just seem like your typical run-of-the-mill like hippie activist vegan person, right? And
do they know who was driving the car?
yeah, it was Jennifer, who seemed to be in control of the relationship, and some people even say the other woman was like a victim also.
Seems unlikely.
They got $2,000 a month in adoption insurance, so some adoption assistance.
I see.
So some people speculating maybe it's like they're doing it for the checks, adopting these kids.
People do that.
And then just some other notable stuff, very notable, is Jennifer Hart's blood alcohol was above the legal limit, but not crazy. It was like 0.102.
The children had Benadryl?
0.102. And everyone else in the car had Benadryl.
0.102, that's high.
It's over 0.08, but not crazy high.
But it's like, you shouldn't be driving.
Shouldn't be driving, but you're not out of your mind to where...
You're not blacked out.
Yeah. And they had Benadryl, but we don't know how much. So it could have been just a pill. It could have
All
been
of them
20.
wouldn't have Benadryl at the same time, though. Like,
That's
that
true.
makes no sense.
That's true. So it was probably a dosing.
Ooh, Susie Booth, thank you so much. $10 donation. Love you guys. We love you too. Chicken, it could have, yeah, the meat could have been for the kids, but if they're not getting food, then they're not eating the meat either.
Yeah, the kids are barely getting food.
I've never heard of adoption assistance either.
Yeah, I haven't either. But I guess maybe
Maybe
validate
it depends on where you adopt from.
Maybe.
And like the age of the kid. I don't know.
That's it. That's the 4 cases. This one, it wasn't as much mysteries. It was just more, what are the common threads? So I guess in doing some reading, most family killers are men. Most people that commit all crimes are men.
Yeah, I'm surprised these were 2 women.
But I think as far as family killers go, women are higher percentage than most crimes.
Oh, I see.
Not necessarily killing the whole family, but like women kill their kids. There's a lot of cases like that.
Yeah, I mean, like after pregnancy, like having the what's it called?
Postpartum depression.
Postpartum, yeah. Oh yeah, they like drown. I've heard of like moms who drown their kids. A lot, actually. Yeah, it's very sad. And then women commit more crimes regarding Lululemon.
Yeah. So it seemed like money was an issue for this family, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Or was it?
But
because they're going on like a ton of festivals and going away and stuff, and they're getting $2,000 a month.
So I was reading some comments on what people thought.
Do they have jobs?
They worked at like really bad. I forget what the jobs were, but it was like not. It was minimum wage type of job, like $11 an hour maybe. Mm-hmm. It was like some kind of. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. But I was reading some comments on what people thought of this case, and someone was like, which I think summed it up really well, is the type of life they're living, it's really all about appearances, and when it starts to crumble, you just don't know what to do, like how you're perceived. So like, you're a person who's a vegan, who adopts 6 underprivileged children, you know, who is an activist, and when the child services start showing up to your house and they're going to start taking away your kids, you can't really deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the ones I also read were just men who lived, and then they couldn't, like, pay for their mansion and their cars anymore. So, like, their thinking is, like, I'm just going to kill myself and the entire family. It's like, just kill yourself. Crazy. Or, like, I don't know, figure it out.
I don't understand the justification for killing the family.
It makes no sense to me. Is there any notorious women serial killers? Wasn't there that one woman who was like knowingly spreading HIV?
Was there what? Any female serial killers?
Yeah. Notorious ones. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that.
She was just like having, I think it was like in one hotel, she was having sex with a bunch of men. She had HIV.
I think I have heard something like that. There's probably a few female serial killers.
I heard for fostering kids you get money, but not about adoptions. Is this about keto? No, it's not. The one day a week we do true crime instead of keto. We had keto dinner though. We had short ribs from the Instant Pot.
Some just want to watch the world burn. Name that movie. What movie is that?
I don't feel like it's like a true crime movie.
Is that Batman?
Julius, you're annoying.
Alien? Some people are saying Alien.
It says Alien, Matt. It's a woman. It's a serial killer. I agree. The house was super clean, prompting the possible CPS visits.
Oh, yeah, that's probably it, actually. Short ribs is a recipe from our slow cooker ebook.
But we did Instant Pot since we were short for time and
Dark Knight. I got it.
Is Washington State, if you would foster a child, the child gets health benefits. Oh, that's great. All right, I think, how long has it been?
About an hour, over an hour.
Well, did you guys like this style better?
Next week I'm going back to just a true mystery case.
Okay.
Those are my faves. I like the mysteries.
This was fun though. Yeah. I like doing 4 of them.
Does Unsolved Mysteries still come on? I think it might.
I don't know if it does, but aren't like all the episodes on Netflix or something?
I don't know. Those are really, I guess they do hold up. But yeah, a lot of people watch like ID network that has a bunch of true crime stuff.
Oh yeah, Charlize Theron in Monster. That was such a good movie. Did you see Monster?
I've seen parts of it.
Oh man.
Didn't she win Best Actress in that?
Yeah. Oh man, she crushed it. Mr. Julius is looking sharp in his red sweater. He loves his sweater. 4 of them, yes.
Oh, the movie Monster is about that case. Okay.
Yeah. What about doing old cases like the Lizzie Borden case?
Lizzie? I really like more recent cases.
How old is that one?
I don't know. I don't really know that case.
Oh, how do you know her name is Lizzie?
Because I'm reading the words. It says Lizzie. Why would it be Lizzie? It's L-I-Z-Z-I-E.
My friend's sister is same name, but it's Lizzie.
Oh, maybe it is then.
Loved You on Netflix, Meg. I can't wait for season 2. We cannot either. I'm curious how it's gonna be, if it's gonna be as good or not, because you can't really do much with it after this, right? Like Candace came back.
Oh, You, the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just finished that on Netflix. You guys might like it.
What?
Oh, you can do it a lot with season 2.
Favorite flavor of G Hughes? I've only ever tried the original, so that's what I'd go with usually.
Yeah, recent cases are more relatable and more terrifying.
Yeah, because they have like the body cam from the cops and the nest on the door. Like, I want all of that footage.
Yeah. I gotta figure out how to get the footage on here. I think we need an extra monitor, and then I gotta figure out how to get you guys to hear the audio from the videos that we play.
Julius is on the struggle bus right now.
We could get an electric fence. How much do the electric fences cost for Julius?
We had an electric fence for my first dog, and he would just run right through it. But Julius wouldn't. We should get an electric
He ran
fence.
through the electric fence?
But it doesn't keep buzzing you forever.
Oh.
Oh my god, that's such a great idea. Good call.
Lizzie Borden is 1892.
Oh, that's really old.
See, I can't even put myself in that time period.
Join late. We'll watch after. What did you eat? We had Instant Pot short ribs. Really good. Super tender. Do you eat the Kite Hill unsweetened yogurt? If so, do you put anything in it? Just try today. It tastes a little off. Yeah, it definitely tastes off to me. When I eat it, I like to mix in a little protein powder and some slivered almonds or pecans for some crunch.
Invisible fence. Not electric.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
Caesar the dog whisperer. I love Caesar. All right, guys.
We love ya.
That's Murder, She Ate, episode 5.
We will see you next week. If you have true crime ideas, don't forget.
Comment below.
Comment below because I'm always looking.
Right when this video ends, start commenting cases.
Yeah, just put whatever you think.
See you guys.
You'll forget.